Hey everybody, this is Petey from the Spinner Rack, and today we also have
Calvin Ellis, ready to rock.
now Jeremy Renner is talking about his experience, his surviving, the crash that he went through on Snowplough, all the stuff he went through. This whole video is something you should watch the entire thing of. Talks about his entire journey, but at the same time, we have to talk about him having to reject the offer from the MCU. He said, not even it's not Kevin Feige, it's not Disney, it's just the money people. He'll say it in this, but um, we have Hawkeye, the second series, and I understand that what's the name? Hailee was in Sinners and Bumblebee, and she's an up and coming actress. This thing is called Hawkeye. It's called Hawkeye. I don't care if you're trying to do a legacy thing and he passes it on and he goes to his family. Still Hawkeye. We want to see Hawkeye, and you know, I think for the little bit of power that Hawkeye has, if you look in the with I think the direction of Josh Whedon, the stuff they did with Hawkeye was cool. I mean, he was cool in the Thor movie, and I think Thor and Hawkeye, he's more of an Iron Man, but they figured a way to make that work, and he was pretty good in it's mind controlled in the Avengers movie, and in the Avengers movie, all those shots, those cool shots of we saw cool shots in the Lord of the Rings of archers, and they came up with some cool stuff in the Avengers. So he's definitely someone I would put my money on. So let's listen to it, and then we will have a reaction. Ready, set.
I'm a guy that excels in certain skill sets in my life, but I'm still a man, and because of the incident, I don't feel fame so much as I feel like being a part of the divinity of collective love on this planet and beyond. And it feels lovely to be that connected to people and not separated because they treat me like I'm separate.
And do you feel that your values have changed from before to after the incident?
No, nothing like that. There's no like big, massive shifts or changes. All the white noise goes away because I'm not giving any credence to things that don't have value. I'm focused on health and wellness and recovery as a central part of my existence, and so that takes a lot of time. I still do all the things I do. I believe all the things I believe. There's a lot of confirmations that I received from the accident. Things that I didn't have any regrets. When I died and came back, I'm like, yeah, I don't have any regrets. That's confirmed. What happens when you die? I mean, things I thought before, and things are now confirmed. All of my basic values and principles and things I've learned in my life have not changed.
We made sure we listen to this.
You died, right, Jeremy, on that day when you went under the snow cap? What happened in that moment?
Why is this? Sorry to hop on.
It's almost word for word. I think if you investigate it with others, I didn't know there's such a thing, but yeah, there's a lot of near-death things out, and there's some sort of solace that comes out. Look, I didn't want to come back. Let me just put it that way, because if you're in my shoes, you think the same thing. Somehow, some way, I was pulled back.
It says
it's
the insult offer.
What did you see? Here's the truth, okay?
What would they do this to me?
Also through the conversations that we've minerals and health, the code 8.
Time, place, or space. It's just attached to love is there with you at all time, place, space. There's everything and everyone.
I'm pausing this for a second. All right, so we are hopping to the section.
I won't be limited to just that, but it is a essential part of my life. Right, a lot of people know me for a certain type of jobs, and
would you compromise on your values if you got offered a Hawkeye film in the next 6 months to do Avengers?
No, I passed out. Look, here's what happened. They asked me to do a season 2, and they offered me half the money. I'm like, wow, it's going to take me twice the amount of work for half the amount of money. And so 8 months of my time, essentially. And you do it for half the amount. I'm like, I'm sorry. And this is not Marvel. This is like this Disney, not even really Disney. It's just the penny pinchers, the accountants. I don't even think they know who I am. They're just doing the deal, that kind of thing, most likely. Because how dare you? I told him to go fly a kite. I mean, just at the insult offer. Why would you? Why did you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over? Lord. Maybe that's why you want to pay me half of what I made on the first season? I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, go fly a kite. I'm not going to go torture my body and risk permanent damage somewhere. Especially for half the money, it's going to. No, and more important, I said, it's for my time. It's going to require a lot of time for me. And we didn't see eye to eye on that. And sadly, I still love the character. I still love to do it. But I had to defend myself. Do I have a right to say why? And, I don't care what's happening over there in your accounting department. It's not my problem. So that was it was a little disappointing. And I think if anybody at Marvel heard about that, they would be screaming and shouting. Like, what the hell are you thinking? I just pay me. I didn't ask for any more money, mind you, right? It just paid me what I made the first season. So it was a little disheartening that didn't happen, but that's fine. I'm happy to let that go because my body's probably thanking me, time and time again that I'm not doing it right now. But we'll see. I think there's always a chance for it to happen. That there's still the timing of it. I love to because I love Marvel and I love the universe and spent better half of my career in it.
You know what? It's so refreshing to interview an actor who isn't after a job for more money.
All right. So what do you think? We got to it. What do you think of that?
He did the right thing. It's, you get older, God willing, you get older and you just have to deal with natural stuff that may happen in terms of, your mobility, strength, whatever it may be. This guy had a really major accident. He's probably thanking his lucky stars, thanking God that he's able, to still function. Because I'm pretty certain whatever prognosis or diagnosis he got at the time wasn't good, when you come after that. And then somebody's like, hey, why don't you come out here? And we're strictly going to be, the bean counters. Like, well, you know what? Let's see if we can get this guy. Let's see if we get him the low ball offer. I'm like, what? What? Like, no, I'm not going to come out over. And then you get exactly what you want. You get me for 8 months. And if I'm lucky, nothing happens. But what if something has happened? I got to deal with this for the rest of my life. And then I got to look over here. I bitched myself out for you. I'm like, no, get out of here. At the very least, give me the money, give me the money I should be having. Okay. Or entice me to come out with more money, as opposed to we're going to start over here at a deficit. It is insulting. It is insulting, especially as you just said, the name of the show is Hawkeye.
Yeah, no.
So yes, I don't have any problem with what he said. Anyone who, physical health, I think a lot of people may take for granted until they realize how important it is. But yeah, you don't squander that because you can have all the money in the world. You got one body you have to live in, and that money will become no consolation, okay? And no consolation whatsoever if your biggest desire is like, I want to get out of this body because I can't stand being it any longer. So that's, I totally applaud what he did right there. I think that was the right thing to do. Okay. And when he told him to go fly a kite, I'm pretty certain he used different language. But hey.
Yep.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, it's the hard thing of having us get our comic books on screen, and it's just this thing of saying the Marvel is more important than someone who's on the show who, if you get a second season, it's usually guaranteed that you make more money. Now he's looking at it and saying, I'm not even going to do that. If they call me for a second season, I'm just doing for what it is. I know what the time is, the climate is, and they're like, no, the climate is you take less, and we probably utilize you for some really cool stuff, and then we'll kind of usher in the background, and then we'll have you have a walk on. And the thing is, it's still Hawkeye, and the thing of it is, you're having these next characters. There's outside of the new Black Widow, who's kept the accent, you know, all these other characters are just the same. They're just plucky, happy to be around superheroes characters. Talented actresses and actors, even say Spider-Man, but at the same time, they're all the same, stepping into it, they're not, like Kevin Garnett stepping to Minnesota, Kobe going to this. They're the same type of guy with different reaction to this thing, and that's what your next new level Marvel characters coming into these things are. The good ones. If you have a good one that comes into, into a series, whereas Hawkeye came into the Avengers, a guy who was a villain, who's just doing whatever the Black Widow said, and then now he's a hero because he didn't fully take out Iron Man when he had the shot. He pulled back when he did that, even though he's working for him, and they could see some good in him, and he turns into the Hawkeye that's battling with Captain America every issue and trying to get Scarlet Witch's attention every issue, and then fighting with Quicksilver every issue. So you had someone that thinks with his forehead, hit it banging the door every time, and he was just a fun character. You're gonna say we're gonna take that instead of a plucky character, and I like I like the actress, but it's just like, come on, we already had that with the other one. And when I want a Hawkeye series, let's give us a Hawkeye series. Don't retire the character when you just keep him in pretty decent shape and use the bow and arrows. And they've added some more stuff for him to do. He did a lot of cool stuff in the series, and we got to see all the angles of his hand-to-hand combat stuff, which not necessarily a big part of his arsenal in the comic books. But yeah, it was also fun. So it really saddens me to hear that that they went to lowball when you're an established actor. He's not in a stage where we're saying we're doing, this is an art film and we need money to produce it and distribute it. So can you work for Coffee and Donuts so we can get our art film off the ground? Like, knowing that actors do that, they don't come to major studios to take lowball issues just to be like, well, I want to start my, I mean, if you want to do, if you want to do the, I mean, obviously Don Cheadle was new to the game. So, even though there's $8 million on the table for Terrence Howard, you're new to the table and they want to offer you $1 million. And then over time, you're in, I don't know, 10 films. Maybe they raised you a little bit, but $1 million for each of them for 15 or whatever films he's been or TV shows he's been in. That's a lot of money. So that's what a lot of fans look at it, but it shouldn't be like that. Hey, he's a Hawkeye. They gave him a show. They rarely do these Marvel things work into second seasons. So you get in the second season, hey, he's not Mickey. He's not that type of supporting character. He's supposed to be shooting arrows too. So I'm for him making his money, and I'm sad to see that he had to do what he did. But he did the right thing, as you said. He definitely did the right thing. He's been through a lot. They don't have to factor any of that stuff in, but at the same time, he doesn't have to accept the offer, which he didn't. So there you go. You can be, and then at the same time, who screwed this up? Or they can be like, oh, we're not going to say anything, which, then when you're on set and they're like, well, why isn't Hawkeye in this thing? But anyway, I'm glad to see he's doing well, and it looked pretty, dark. And this, if you watch this whole video, which will have the link for it, he goes through his entire experience, and it's good to see him up and looking well. Any other thoughts?
Well,
what's up?
One of the things that I do have to say, this is this is definitely on a tangent, is that unfortunately, because of the way they decided to handle things with the Marvel Universe, I would have loved to have seen them adapt that original Hawkeye limited series, the first one.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that would have been like that would have been a lot of fun if they were able to do that. So, but they gave him a family and everything else within the film, so he's not going to meet he's not going to meet Mockingbird. He already did that in they already did that in the Shield in the Agents of Shield TV series. But it would have been nice to see something with just him, without him, being a supporting character at the end of the day. I understand that they want to lay that groundwork for these other characters to come in, but I still thought, there's some pretty good Hawkeye stories out there that he could have had on his own. But it is what it is, I guess. But again, I reiterate, I'm glad he did what he did, because at the end of the day, no amount of money is worth your physical health.
Yeah. So yeah, more power to you, Jerry Renner. Hope to see you back, and hope to see you get even a bigger paycheck if you come back. Spin a rack.
But I
We are out.